Oh, yeah.
Okay. Hello and good evening. Welcome to the Thursday show with Ange and Richard, and part of the Cannon Fodder Global TV network. And good evening to you, Richard.
Evening, Ange. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Basically, tonight we're going to touch, and it's quite hard, but we've done some research as to the women's transfers because obviously the men's, and it's all over social media. We always, well, we presume who we might get, and we won't even go there with the biggie at the moment. But for the women's, it's a lot harder. But what I would say, we've had the breaking news today about Jordan Nobbs.
Yes.
Had you heard anything, Richard?
I hadn't heard anything prior to the move,
Oh,
but
I had, and I was keeping a little eye on that. Yeah, and you think, okay, but I didn't realise that she's actually 30 now. And she's been there since she was 17, so she's been a very long, loyal servant, hasn't she?
yeah, and this season has been she hasn't had that many starts, and her stage of her career, it's an understandable thing. We wish her well, and in her next venture. So
Yes, yeah, absolutely. And we'll move on. And I would just like to say here and now, and it won't happen. For me, I would love to have Alessia.
yeah, I mean it would be nice, but they've obviously got somebody in plan if they're letting Jordan go. So that's the thing. They wouldn't let her go if they weren't having somebody else in.
Yeah, exactly. As I say, something about Alessia, and I only really knew about her from the wonderful Euros, but I think she'd fit in very well. Plus, she's a Southern girl, but she hasn't got long on her contract. But who knows? Probably not. So, and whoever they bring in, I'm sure they'll be very good. Anyway, looking at these potential signings, I've had actually BBC Sports app was quite good. Oh, another one they keep making a noise about is Mana.
Well, Sinsberg.
No, sorry, Mana. I can't pronounce.
Oh, it should be.
Yeah.
Should be.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's up for renewal in summer, isn't she?
I'm not sure because once
I know she's not got long left. I just don't know how long that is.
right.
It's either a year in the summer, or she's got 18 months left now. I'm not sure which.
Because they're making noises about she's not getting enough game time. Yeah, so that's one to keep an eye on. Just certainly, mind you, they all look very happy there. But next, another one that was interesting, and Matt, who we need to get back on the show at some point, because he actually went to that Everton game. I've read this a few times now. Giovanna, or Gio, a young Brazilian girl who's been on loan to Everton, there's some noise that she's going to get recalled, and I think actually she'll be very, for a youngster, she'll be very good for us. She's got quite a lot under her belt. Did she go? Oh gosh, I can't remember. I should have made note of that. She's come from somewhere quite big, so she's got plenty of experience for a very young woman.
Yeah, that's it. I knew she'd been at Everton, but I didn't know where we got her from. So it's a case of.
Yeah, I need to look that up actually, but yeah, I think she's got a lot of potential.
Yeah, it was. I think it was cover for. I can't remember. It was cover. Was additional cover where we were short.
So that one could be very interesting. And another Brazilian, because I don't know. I feel with the women, dare I say it, they seem to go on a bit longer than the men. As in football, I know goalkeepers are totally different. And there's another lady, she goes by several names, Brazilian midfielder, 31, called Dabina, and she's been linked with Arsenal ladies. So that's a possibility. Oh, and another one, I saw something on Twitter, but I haven't seen any other noises about this one, and excuse pronunciation. Catherine Muller Cole. She's Danish forward, but she's young again, only 19. But somebody reckoned it was a done deal, but I don't know the source.
Yeah, there's nothing I've seen. I've seen nothing, but again, it's very hard. The only thing I saw today was the Jordan Nobbs.
Yeah, fair enough. And that is me basically doing as best I can. Because as we've said before, it is so much harder for the women,
Yeah.
without doubt. Also, and of course, the other thing is they've got a new assistant coach, and he's Swedish. Patrick,
Yeah, I mean that might that's not unusual. Jonas might have decided to freshen things up, it might have been another opportunity for the previous coach. Anyway, might have got a first team role. And
well,
again, there's nothing that I've seen, but they're normally the reasons somebody goes on to
yeah,
first team or to coach, manage, or there's just that progression, natural progression. You want to improve on what you've already done, so you bring somebody else in, and it might be that an old mate that he's
probably.
known, and he knows the abilities and wants to improve us as a team.
Yep, so might get to see some of him. So right, that's about it actually. I haven't got any other. Oh, sorry, I've got one more. Canadian goalkeeper Sabrina D'Angelo. She's 29 on a freebie, possibly.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me, because we've only really seen Sinsberger, haven't we?
Yeah.
We haven't seen it. She's been the one who's, so either they're not particularly happy with the backup we've got, and it might be that they're bringing her in for experience and to challenge Zinsberger to improve on, and the competition is always healthy.
Yes. So basically, that's all I've got for the moment. And come next week, hopefully, we might see a few more challenges. But yeah, as I say, so hard to try and find anything. I mean, the other thing I did notice, going back to current squad, Taya Goldie, she's back in training. I don't know what her injury was, but they've always listed her as a defender with the first team because, as you know, the academy for the girls, in our eyes, it's non-existent.
It is, again, and we've talked about it before, about the exposure of women's academy, women's transfers is poor, and the media, whether that's intentional and the media don't cover it because they don't believe there's as much value in it. It's hard, but I'm hoping that in the future will change.
Yeah, because it's interesting when, and all right, you do it on Arsenal.com, but I do tend to mainly live off the app, and you can go to the young men, the academy, more so under 21s and under 18s on the app, but within reason, you know who's who, but they haven't got anything on the app for the academy girls.
No, there's nothing at all, and as I said, this is something we'd like the club to improve. And I mean, if you look at the academy boys, if you go to George Bird on, he's the guy I reach out to if there's anything I want to know on academy players. His knowledge of the academy setup men's wise is brilliant. I don't know if he knows much about the academy girls, but I suppose I could email him and see if he does. It would be quite interesting.
Yeah, that would actually. I follow him on Twitter, and I have made a few comments. And I'll be blunt, he's not one to reply to you. So, but yeah, try
Yeah,
that.
he does sometimes, but again, it's just I know he replies to my emails when I don't send him many, but when I have, he has answered. So
okay.
maybe he prefers that form of communication.
Another one I'm thinking, and I really like this guy. I don't know if you've ever watched any of his podcasts about Arsblog.
I read the stuff, but I haven't actually watched any of the podcasts.
Okay, I do them now and again. I just love his wit. But also he is a keen follower. Excuse me. Sorry, excuse me. Excuse me. Of the the women's side of football.
Yeah, and it seems to be growing, and we seem to be, because on Twitter, and there's plenty of following on Twitter and the Facebook forums. It's just the media side and especially when you're looking around transfers and bits and pieces.
Yeah.
I mean, normal news, it's easy enough to pick up because it's there and there. But why the women's transfer business isn't media worthy is an interesting thing. And I only found out Jordan Nobbs on 90minute.com.
Oh, okay. I know, because it actually, when I got to work and I was using the Wi-Fi, I actually saw it when I logged on to Twitter. I think it was they're a good forum on there, the Arsenal Women's Group, whatever they're called on there. And then I saw it from Arsenal Direct. So yeah, that's how I got to know about it. But like I said, I had heard a couple of rumblings about it, so I wasn't exactly that surprised by it.
Just go evening to Tired and Alex. They've said Alex said welcome to the Thursday night show.
Right. Okay. I want to say, you're going to have to refresh. What exactly did we win, Richard?
I'm not sure. Yeah, I didn't see. I missed it. I've had a horrible time with my internet just over Christmas period. I spent 2 days without TV. It was horrible. Because I've got glass. I've got Sky Glass, and with that, you've got no satellite dish. It's just run off the internet. So when your internet goes down, you've got no TV.
Well, I'm an old-fashioned girl, and that's one perk of this flat I live in. I have a TV aerial, and I'm a Freeview girl, and obviously I've got my Virgin broadband that I pay through the nose for next. That's what I paid for. So obviously I can stream a few things.
Yeah. I think what happened was water got into the box, and it caused a problem right at the local box, and they had to come out and fix it, but it didn't help me.
Okay, well, anyway, good evening, Tiganosaurus. Oh, my lovely. And I'm pretty sure you would have voted for us. So I'm not quite sure exactly what we won, but thank you so much. And you probably voted.
I think it was the best segment on the.
Best segment, right?
Okay. Yeah. So we had Ralph for Sunday, the live watch-alongs. We had Paul Bray in the North Bank. He did the Sunday show, and I think that was it. I'm not sure if the Easy Project was up there as well, but and it was quite it's quite nice that you've recognised us and
thank you.
voted for us. It's lovely.
I did not
especially going up against those two. I mean, I love Ralph's watch-alongs because they make if you want to be nervous, then it's the best.
Oh, I love his watch-alongs. I truly do.
Yeah.
And Paul Brown, so technical.
I love helping Paul out and appearing as a guest on that as well. So both shows brilliant. So
yeah, no, absolutely. Yes, because I've never won anything in my life actually. So yes, that was
it is always nice, isn't it? And then we've got Alex saying good evening to Tired. Evening.
Oh, John. He's good now. Good evening, John.
Tired saying, and then we've got a new. I haven't seen Gabrielle Solano before.
Oh.
Evening, Gabrielle. And yes, go Arsenal.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. You could you never have too many Gabrielles at the Arsenal. That's all I can say.
No. The more the merrier.
Yes, absolutely.
22 if we could.
You're not wrong there. Sorry, put the glass on comments.
Tired saying, how would you sum up Nobbs for Arsenal?
The season. Well, because she had that injury, didn't she? So, and she managed to get back in the England squad. But she was, let's be honest, pretty much kept out of the team.
Yeah, I mean the injury was unfortunate, but her time at Arsenal has been pretty good, and she's been a decent servant. You can't fault what she's done for us, and unfortunately, it's her time to move on. And and as we know, every footballer has a shelf life, and they've got to protect that shelf life as long as they can.
Yeah.
But we and hopefully she'll she'll do well against all the other teams and have a nightmare against us.
Yeah, we should very well, but not against us.
Yeah.
No, she'll be a great asset for Aston Villa women, without doubt.
Yeah. And then we've got Tired again. What's your thoughts on both men and women's team needing to buy forward line in this window? Will it happen? For the women's team, yes, very probably. Who and when, again, is anybody's guess. For the men's, definitely. And again, it's who that'll be. But they'll have their first choice and there are other choices, and it will be a case of whether they think the deal is worth it or not. It's a long way to go, and yeah, we'd all like the deals to be done early, but just as long as they get done.
This is interesting. Sorry to interrupt. Interesting concept, Hyde, because regards to women, we've actually got. Well, certainly, I'm still putting my faith in Stina. To me, she is our number 9.
It's. I think it's because we've lost Mead and and Viv, haven't we? So I think it's just losing 2 forwards. In the same times for the same time span is. They want to make sure we've got that depth there, and it's they might decide just to go for a loan until the end of the season, because it's what 6 months to 6 months to a year out with an ACL, and dependent on the person and the different bits and pieces. So you're looking that they might do a short-term loan and see where they are, or they might go long-term and say, right, you've got to fight for your place to the other 2 when they come in. I mean, it's just not an unlucky situation though with those types of injuries. You can do them just getting your studs caught in the grass. It's not, and it's never nice seeing one one of those injuries.
I mean,
But
just
yeah,
sorry to the forward again. I mean, also, and she got injured, but our latest one, Lena, because we saw some good stuff from her, and then of course she got injured. So hopefully she's back firing on all cylinders and can really strut her stuff.
yeah, well, that's Lena Hurtig, isn't it? Yeah,
Yeah. So
yeah.
that,
I mean, we've got Hurtig, we've got Ford, we've got Blackstenius. It's just after that, isn't it? It's because you would have Mead and
yeah.
so you probably just want another body or two in there. Just probably just one with the women. They'll probably go for just to give you that backup.
Yeah. Good at that. And as for the men, well, I don't want to talk about the men. We'll get who we get next.
Yeah, well, with the men's, we all have wish lists, and let's be honest, it'll be down to what the board and Edu decide is the right price. If it's not a right price for us, we'll walk away, and that's fair enough. You can't be held to ransom.
No.
But if you're not going for that, you need to get somebody in, because we are one injury in the forward line for being in trouble. And
Yeah.
that's it. Doesn't matter whether that's Martinelli or if it's
Yeah.
Saka or if it's Nketiah. Any one of them goes down, we
Yeah.
at the moment are threadbare,
Yeah.
and it's about having a quality
Yeah.
replacement for. And there's a few out there. I mean, you could look at Trossard from Brighton. You could look at that Minotoma. You could look at
Oh,
you
Japanese.
could look at Saha. We're
Nice.
looking at Mudryk. Yeah, there's plenty of players out there that would come in and and do something for our squad in the forward line, because let's be honest, once you get past those three I've just mentioned, we know we've got Gabriel. You've got Emil Smith Rowe, who can do a job there. Fabio Vieira isn't quite there at the moment, but and he's more of a midfielder than a winger. And then you've got Marquinhos, who's a youngster who's not there, and then Nelson, and he's out injured as well. So
I'm really keeping update because I'm really gunning for me boy here, but he actually it's not that bad, and he should be back pretty soon. And I'll feel a lot happier when he's back.
Yeah, I mean, it's an extra body, isn't it? Yeah. It's an extra body.
He's very much like Eddie. The more time you can give them, the more they'll show you. And we're seeing that with Eddie already. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So, that rhymed. Rock City Eddie. But anyway, enough of those men. They'll do what they do.
So, Colin, get it? Hi, Colin. Nice to see you here. How you doing? How's the family? Then we've got Tired again.
Oh,
who is promoting the women's game? Is it the governing body or the clubs?
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, at the moment, it seems to be there is only a certain financial structure and way they can promote with but there are talks ongoing, as I believe, between government and to become more self-sufficient and get more money into the game, whether that's through broadcasting, the sort of rights deals that clubs have with with certain sponsors and getting more in that way, and there is an opportunity there. I think there's a very good opportunity because the product is brilliant. So somebody out there needs to jump on it and make it happen. What what I've not seen and not heard is how government plans to be rolling out more influential girls to be able to play football in schools and get them into grassroots and get more so that we bring the next generation on. And this is where we need to be on the ball and get that going. And hopefully a lot of the women's footballers are pushing and pressuring the government and schools and bits and pieces to make that happen. But again, because it's not in the news, you don't know what goes on behind the scenes, and this is a frustrating part of things. Unless you're around the club and you know people around the club, you're not getting any information. It's very hard. But I mean, we hope to get a bit more on this, and I am keeping an eye on, and hopefully within a few, next few shows, I can come back to you with something more concrete. So, just wondered, are transfer windows for men's and women's the same? Yes, it's exactly the same transfer window. It's it governs both women's and men's league. So it was like was it last season or the season before where we had a shortened window, and the European teams had a longer window. It was the same for the women, so they like to keep it synchronized in that sense, which makes it easier for the governing bodies, I suppose, all that paperwork. Otherwise, some poor person in an office somewhere is going to get confused at some point. Women legends going up on transfer hoardings, I hear. That would be brilliant. I mean, they should be, because they're part of our club, our history, and they've got a very, very good, rich history. Their trophy count and is every bit as good as the men's, and it should be recognised, and it should be applauded and sang from the rooftops, just as the men's.
I mean, what I found interesting, and what was it? The one show that I had on a little bit earlier, and I think that was something for women's football. I really wasn't, because I was trying to get this up and running, but they actually had some sort of. There was women grassroots football, and Beth Mead actually come on through via a video link just to wish them well, and say I kind of caught the tail end of it, but yeah, this exposure and this recognition, well, certainly, and that's what the Lionesses have done, haven't they? I mean, all right, many wonderful female players before that, but I think especially now for youngsters, both boys and girls, they know who the Lionesses are.
Yeah, and this is the thing. Every child needs that, those players to look up to and aspire to.
Yeah, definitely.
So and I think with the exposure of the Lionesses got in the European trophy this year, winning it is excellent, and it can only be good, because as I said, I mean, when I was in the 70s, we had one girl who played for our school team, and she was brilliant, but after that, it's very hard for a girl to get any game time, and that's got to change.
Definitely. I mean, my friendship circle, I didn't know anybody females that wanted to play football, but I know they wouldn't have had the chance from my time period. Yeah, and that's just sad, isn't it? Really
Yeah,
sad.
it is extremely sad. Steve Smith, good evening all. It's all well and good, fans jumping up and down in paddock mode saying we must buy. For women, we probably need a number 10 rather than a number 9. We do need to buy, and it's not panic mode. We know we're in a very good position to challenge and pick up a trophy, the Premier League trophy this year. If the owners and Mikel and Edu are serious, which I've no reason to believe Mikel, Arteta, and Edu aren't serious about wanting to win trophies. They've said it, and nothing they've done suggests otherwise. You can't do it with a squad we've got at the moment. We saw it against Newcastle, didn't we? What options he had on the bench. Now, one of them was an academy player. That's not enough depth to challenge for a title. We can get away with 1 or 2 injuries here and there, but you can be unlucky. Things can happen, and you could lose Martinelli or Nketiah, and then our only attacking options is Smith Rowe, Vieira, Nelson, Crozier, Dewberry, Hall, or you call back Balogun, and that's at the moment is the 5 options. 2 of them are probably three of those 5 are viable, but we've got a hell of a lot of games between February and March to play, and we need every possible number of players available to us that will improve the squad. If you look, I'd say we've probably got a very good 15, 16 players, but you compare that to Man City, they've got 22, 25 players that they can interswap and not affect the team. You lose Partey. We saw last season, we lost Partey, we lost Tierney, we lost Tomiyasu, and that was our season over. If we were to have that bit of misfortune again this season, even though they're stronger, we are still thin in certain areas. And at the moment, that's in the forward area and in your midfield with Partey and Xhaka. If those 2 get injured, the replacements aren't of the same quality. So we do need to buy. It's just unfortunate truth. I think, yeah, number 10 for the women, possibly. Yeah, I mean, we Black Stenius, we do need, or even somebody who can play in both positions. Sort of an auxiliary player that is good in both, but I'm not sure who we'd go for or who's out there available.
That is more the thing. We
Yeah.
really don't know. Well, we don't know who's available
And what the targets are. We know it's sort of that that area we need to strengthen, but there's nothing in from the club and all the transfer sites that I've looked at are mainly men's, and the only one was that out there. They're not talking about incoming. They're only talking about outgoings from clubs, which is really annoying. I mean, the only other one was the Chelsea to Tottenham ladies.
Yeah.
As for the men's, there isn't a number 9 for South. Sahar, Trossard, and the Ukrainian's name, who I can't remember, are not number 9s. To be honest, I don't think we need a number 9. Because Martinelli can play there. and I'd be honest, I think Saka could play there. But what we need is another forward that can play across all three. Mudryk can play 10, he can play left, he can play right. He prefers the left, but that's another option. It's another body in there, and that gives us, and that's what we need. It's not because I think if they're going for a number 9, that'll be in the summer. And why we're being that's why we're being linked with Felix. But that'll be whether they can get that loan fee down, 20 million for a loan fee for 6 months with no options, no obligations or anything is ridiculous money. And the only winner there is Atletico. But we will see. I mean, Saha could. If you went for Saha can play number 9. He can play left. He can play right.
They won't go Saha. He's too
No,
old.
but again, he's too old. But he doesn't fit the age profile. But there are options out there for players that can cover those 3 positions, and we don't know how long Jesus is going to be out for. He might only be out to February. He might be out longer. He might be back quicker. It depends on how his body heals and how training goes, and if it setbacks and bits and pieces. What we don't want to do is rush him back and have him down because he's rushed himself back too quickly. He's out on the touchline against Brighton and Newcastle. He's in the round the squad in a cheerleader position and giving them his experience and knowledge and helping them get through these games. So he's still showing worth while he's off injured. If we were a promotion of a women's game, could be mixed men's women game. It's a great idea. I just don't think the powers that be would do it. We've seen the for the comic for the sports relief one the England 11 against the world 11 that they've added women players into that, and it's gone down well. And I've said for a charity match, a Tottenham men's and women's against a women's an Arsenal women's and men's team for local charities and get it covered and promote the hell out of it. I think it would be great. And again, you could even do it as an England and do it for an England against another nation 11 as a charity thing. It's whether the powers that be want it and will accept it. And whether they think that what the health risks are. This because we've heard this is why the Women's League was shut down. It was so-called health risks and risks of injury, and I think that is probably the mentality behind it. It's you don't want to see somebody get terribly injured and then looking more at the women, whereas I think that's wrong. I think both men and women can play on the same pitch quite easily. So some can't, some can, and it's down to individuals.
Yeah, we could see it in some shape or form, hopefully.
Yeah. And then we've got has a women's team gone unbeaten in the season? I believe we did, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yes, Arsenal women's team. I can't remember the season, but it wasn't that long ago that we went unbeaten I think it was the season we won the Champions League.
Okay.
I believe it was. I can't be 100% sure because I haven't got the bits and pieces in front of me to pull up. So
we'll do a bit of research on that
yeah,
one.
but I know Arsenal women have been unbeaten. I just can't remember the season it was. I know for a fact that we did.
No disrespect to our men, but that's what I want. And I was so gutted when we lost that Man U game. And it was only by one goal. It weren't like we were annihilated, but
Yeah,
just to lose a game.
I mean the fact that Wenger did it, and if you've seen the teams, you've seen the Chelsea teams, you've seen the City teams, you've seen the Liverpool teams recently, and all very good, but they haven't been able to do it. It shows you how hard it is actually to achieve that feat.
Yeah, definitely. So it's not going to be for Arsenal ladies this year. Maybe next.
No, but I still think we'll win the WSL this season. I still the Chelsea match will be the key one, but I think we'll win it.
I really hope so. And no disrespect to my lovely ladies, because the FA Cup is more for the guys. But if they could win the WSL and get as far as they can in the Champions League, I'll be very happy.
Yeah.
Really happy.
Yes, you see, we got tired saying we need Colin to rate the women's transfer window. Do you think his rating will be a positive or negative? Look, Connist is honest, and what he wants for Arsenal Football Club is the best, and he will give you his honest opinion, and that there's nothing wrong with that. At the moment, it's nowhere near what the men's make. Give me a second, I'll have a quick.
Not nearly as much as the men.
It's nowhere near.
No.
As low as 20,000 per year in some instances. So it's no different to sort of being a teacher or so, a professional in the finance sector. It's not bad money,
but compared to what
you compare it to what the men's is, it's poor. Yeah, but again, that's why they're talking about sponsorships and getting better, getting better coverage and stuff, so that they can improve the wages. They can improve everything in the women's game. So transfer fees, wages, facilities, and everything. So I mean, because there are clubs out there that I mean, if you look at us when we first started, it was just a minibus, and they were having to change in it sometimes, and they didn't have their own kits.
Yeah,
it has improved, but we still need that improvement.
Yeah, there's more to come. Yeah. Does your daughter actually play football?
Or is she interested in joining? I mean, my daughter plays for the local, one of the local teams down here. She's joined up, and she had a trial with them, and they took her on, and so.
Hang on, let me read. So let me put my glasses on. 9 games is what your football in Manchester. Oh, okay, we'll come back to that in a sec. Yeah, it's just brilliant for you, and it is getting more that young women now can join their local teams. And all right, not every young woman's going to have aspirations. Well, I think they're more realistic than the guys about making it as a footballer, but just to enjoy the sport.
Yeah.
Sorry, let's go back to Tide's comment.
Yeah, 9 games in. What's your thoughts on the performance of Manchester United and third place currently? They're
good. They're very good.
they're performing well, but their thing this year is qualifying for Champions League. They missed out last year, and this year that's where they've got to. That's their aim.
Yeah.
Anything above that is a bonus for them.
Yeah.
They've done okay, but they've lost. There's certain games they've not done so well. So they'll find their level. I mean, and to be honest, when we played them, we had a poor poor game. Certain players had poor games. Defensively, we were poor, and Zinsberger had a howler in that game, and it wasn't it was one of the worst games she's played for us, and that happens. But yeah, I think they've not been bad, but they're still not what I'd consider challenging for the WSL this season. That's between us and Chelsea, as far as I'm concerned, and that's the best 2 teams by a country mile at the moment. But they are improving, so probably next season for them is when you have to take them seriously as title challengers. You've got is Miedema and made injury, same as Jesus. No. He didn't have an ACL. His was MCL, I believe. It's still a knee injury, and it still required surgery. But
he's not going to be out like they're going to be.
Yeah.
They're out.
With them, it was an ACL rupture, and the surgery on that, and time that takes to heal is a lot longer. I believe the foremost is Dr. Richard somebody. He's an American doctor, and a lot of the footballers go to him to have it done. And we've got John saying may have a women's and men's double parade this year. Yeah, that would be cool, wouldn't it?
Yeah, very good. Oh,
Leah made 200k last year. So, and she's one of the top. He goes on to say she's one of the top earners, but again, she's in. If you look at maybe some of the Liverpool women and in the lower divisions, and it's swings and roundabouts, isn't it? I mean, you take a Division 2 Championship 2 team player and compare him to Kane, the difference in wages is going to be miles apart. But
also,
it's what your daughter's level is at, and where she can get in as well, isn't it? But it's not a bad place to go if you've got the quality and the determination. I mean, you look at Robbie Savage, not particularly talented, but he had the determination and the desire, and he made a decent living out of it. So, and hopefully, as we said, women's game will slowly get more money in to improve and get more parity among them. Yes, that's John Guna. Fingers crossed. That's a great comment. Would be great if I had both before. Yeah.
Oh, it'd have to be joined. I mean, if they both.
Yeah, why not? it would be fantastic, wouldn't it?
Yeah. I mean, they're already doing that with certain photo
Yeah.
shoots. They
John
did.
said the same as us. 200k, not bad for a game of football. Hope this will improve year on year. Hopefully, yeah. I'd like to see parity across
Mm,
across the whole, so it,
it filters down.
all the players get a fair wage.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, hang on. What's I saying? I got to put the glass. I can't say that. My daughter does not play, but interested because her best friend in her class, she has just received sponsorship, and yesterday went for a trial. Oh
Well,
wow!
that's good. That's
Well,
fantastic. And this is the thing. It's if your daughter's interested and she puts the work and the effort in, she'll get the rewards like her friends just done.
well, and also another interesting concept. Maybe for Tide's daughter, yeah, she doesn't actually want to play, but just to get involved in the
Yeah,
female football. That's the most important thing because that's all we're trying to do. It and you don't whether you're a boy
I
or
mean
a girl.
she could look at coaching as well. I mean,
Yeah, that's
there
another.
are ways. Looking at local teams, getting involved, taking coaching badges, and
Yeah,
getting into the game that way as well. There's endless possibilities, and
just don't become a referee. It's not
yeah,
worth it.
yeah,
Everybody,
not well paid and always hated. But yeah, I mean that's just support her and let her make her own way. If it's what she really wants, she'll get there.
yeah. You read that out. I can't bother to put the glass on. Sorry.
Away from football, well, men are more marketable than a lot of men, I would think. Yeah,
Yeah.
the what I don't want to see I mean, we've just seen Leah do some magazine shoots, and that's all nice and good, and she deserves the accolades and she deserves the attention, but we don't want it to detract from what she is, which is a fantastic footballer
Yeah.
and a person. So we, and I've said this before. If you go onto to YouTube, there are plenty of channels out there that, and it's Alicia Layman, and all they do are compilations, and all you can see is a butt and bits
Yeah.
and pieces, and it's sexualizing them,
Yeah.
and that's wrong. And we shouldn't
Well,
be sexual.
no.
They're people, they're footballers, and that's it.
Yeah. And yeah, it's I'm not saying you can't get glammed up and look
No,
pretty,
you,
but
but
yeah, you've got to keep it real, and you're about football. Yeah.
yeah, I'm a I'm a I'm a good-looking female footballer, but it's my talents
Yeah.
on the football pitch, my ability on the football pitch that gets me where I am today.
Yeah.
That and
Absolutely.
hard work, and it shouldn't be. Yes, I'm not sure what the percentage of women coaches are, and yeah, I think it needs to be addressed. And if you look at ethnicity, how many black managers and Asian managers, and so this all needs to be,
Yeah.
should have been addressed by the FA years ago. I mean, I think there's no reason why a woman couldn't coach a men's team as men do the women's team. Of course, safeguards in place, of course, which would have to be done, but there's no reason why it can't be done.
Mm.
It's down to ability, and
Mm.
we got this one.
Oh, good evening, Glenwyn.
Hi, Glenn. Glenwyn, how are you? Yes,
Oh.
come on, you Gooners. The ladies have been brilliant this season, uh, and
And they'll
we're
watch.
riding in crest of a wave. And it would be nice to have two titles this season, wouldn't it?
Oh, it'd be brilliant. WSL is very doable. If they can just keep at it and get no more horrendous injuries, it's doable. Champions League does different again. It's old enough for the men.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there are you're looking at your Juventuses, you're looking at your Barcelona's and the big teams, but we've got a chance. We've already shown this season we beat Lyon, who were last year's season's champions. So we've got the ability to do it, and you've got Chelsea in there as well. So I mean, it's just about a bit of luck, and with most cup competitions, the saying goes, if your name's written on the trophy. There are times in games where things just go for you, and
it is a bit of luck.
Yeah, seen it so many times over the years.
Mm-hmm.
I was meaning more marketable after game. Yeah, I mean, but it's a difficult one because I think there's a way to make the players marketable without just putting them in certain situations. And at the moment, the thing like the Glamour magazine was, there's a fine edge, and what we don't want is the women to become objects, because they're not objects, and you've tread that fine line.
I mean,
I think if you put Harry Kane in the Glamour magazine, no one would bat an eyelid, would they? They just okay. He's a footballer, and they, but
sorry,
and it's wrong, and it shouldn't be like that.
No,
but
sorry. Harry Kane.
Why? You're not being taken seriously. And again with David Beckham, he was both model footballer, and when you're a man, it's easy to do both, and you're not.
That's a bit.
The two don't clash. Whereas, unfortunately, and it's completely wrong, if in Leah's case,
Leah,
she's modelled, but it will detract from her what she's done for football.
Yeah, definitely.
And it shouldn't do.
Sorry, let's be blunt here. She's a very good-looking girl. She's got a great figure. And sorry, who was it for again? But I did see the magazine cover.
I think it was Glamour, wasn't it?
Yeah, Glamour, and it was quite provocative. And to be honest, it didn't even kind of look like her because we're so used to her natural good looks.
Yeah. But I mean, she's definitely got a unique style. But I'd rather see her in an article talking about
what she can do as
and giving, rather than just having a look at being a fashion shoot. This is what my beliefs are. This is what I stand for, and sort of allow them to show their substance.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Rather than just
sitting there looking pretty.
Rather than just make them out to be glamour models. Yeah, she is strong.
Are you cheating on me? Are you cheating?
She does have a very good, calm nature about her.
Oh, she's an amazing player, an amazing person. Yeah, she really is. We are blessed.
To be honest, I've only seen their European Champions League highlights, and they've destroyed some of the teams in there. But yeah, you can't fault them, can you? But again, the way they
they've not been quite what they've been before, and I'm probably saying that, and they'll just come back even better. But I think they're a bit more doable now, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen the Spanish WS version of WSL, so I can't. I've only seen the highlights of the Champions League, and in that they've looked impressive. It's just not the. I don't know what their domestic form's like, so I can't comment. But they've made some decent additions. They've got on one of our lasses over there, haven't they? So
Lucy Bronze.
Lucy Bronze, yeah. So,
yeah.
so the qualities they've added quality this year. It's whether it's just a bit too soon for them. We'll see. But you know what, the way Barcelona play, you know what to expect. So you can't say that it's not attractive football. It's just whether they've got the durability to go and win the biggest prizes. When I was in school, same as Richard's, women's football was not a thing. We were brought up in the Stone Age. Didn't even know women's football was banned. But there was always girls that love football. Yeah, and this is a thing. And we see it. We've seen it in rugby. We see it in a lot of sports, and the ban put women's game back a long time, and it was harmful, and that's down to male ego and male pride, and it's a shame that's happened, and but what we've got to do is make sure that doesn't happen anymore, and that the women get the backing and the support and the ability to take their game as high as they can. And it shouldn't be about will the women's game take away from the men's game. No, I think you can watch both and enjoy both simultaneously. There's no reason why you shouldn't. And if you say you can't, then there's something wrong with you, because I enjoy the women's football game. I like the technical quality. I think it's far superior to the men's game, but I like the pace of the men's game. And you can say the English Premier League is so fast. It's even the other leagues in the world don't match the Premier League's pace. So but I like women's rugby as well, and you take what you can from and enjoyment from sport. I look at the technical aspects. I look at what a player's doing. It's easier to analyse a woman's game than it is a men's game, because everything is happening so fast in a men's game. But there's no reason why you can't support both. And to be honest, at the moment, financially, for us as a supporter, I can go to more women's games than a season than the men's games. Why you're charging 50, 60 quid for men's game, and you're charging £13 for a ticket in the same stadium for a women's game, it tells you that the men's game is overpriced.
Well, yeah, we well know. So come on, guys, get what you know.
And even possibly the women's game is being undervalued to
that will be the other side.
Yeah, I think Vic Akers deserves a statue.
Oh yeah, without doubt. I saw his daughter somewhere on social media, but I can't remember. It might have been on one of the FB groups. Yeah, just really, they were sort of honouring what her dad had done.
Mm.
But I can't remember what I saw it on. You know, when you see something and you want to go back to it and you can't remember what you saw it on, so it was quite annoying actually. Or maybe it's Twitter, I really can't remember. But yeah, and the other argument, where would you put that statue?
Well, it depends where you're planning to hold the women's games, isn't it? At the
Yeah.
moment, it's Meadow Park, but
Mm.
if you're planning to slowly move to the Emirates, it has to be at the Emirates, doesn't it? Uh,
I think it'd be at the Emirates anyway. They got plenty of
but
room.
yeah, I mean, he was a very good servant to the
Mm.
club.
Mm.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
because he did it. Yeah.
that's hilarious. Kane comment. Well, I think with that hair, that nose, and those knees, he'd look good in the kilt.
Oh my God, don't! I'll have nightmares. My God. Ugh. Good Lord.
It'd have to be a brown color because he's shit. But
Don't swear. It is.
John
Yeah.
Glenwyn says no, he's not cheating on you. And he then goes, with regards to Knobs leaving, any replacement on the cards?
Well,
We
we were
may have
talking
covered
about.
that. Sorry.
Don't know
We don't know if there's, but we are assuming that you wouldn't allow Knobs
to leave. And,
to go without
yeah.
a plan to have somebody in a in a place, whether that's from the academy or whether that's
Man United, yeah. Keep going.
whether it's somebody
Yeah.
coming in from outside. So
Certain lioness, yeah. That one.
yeah,
Come on, girl. Get it done.
so so this one was that one. John saying Vic deserves to be a statue, to be honest.
Yep.
Uh,
Yep, we certainly agree. Yeah, I think you should be
yeah.
at the end.
You have option to watch a men's England team from Alex in the World Cup final, or England's women in the World Cup final. Who do you watch?
Oh,
Women
God.
all day long.
No contest whatsoever. I'm going to be supporting the Lionesses 100%.
I
Sorry.
if you for me, if you're looking at both finals with both teams in the current state, you're watching the women's because you're pretty much sure they've got a chance of coming away with a trophy.
Well,
I don't rate. I wouldn't rate under Southgate the men's having any chance of picking up that trophy. If they had changed manager and there was a decent, then maybe. But right now, if it was today, it would be the women's all day long.
I mean, I've never really been into the World Cup, and sadly, I've never scored.
No, I struggle. I struggled today. I've struggled this year. Well, I've struggled for years with a men's game, watching international tournaments. But I enjoyed the women's
Oh,
Euros. I'll be honest. Women's international football looks a far more attractive prospect. It hasn't been tainted with that brush that the men's game has.
Well, there's that factor.
And they're not just chucking out pointless friendlies for just to get money.
Yeah, that's all it's about, money.
Yeah.
And plus, the women will play in a country that has good human rights, lots of good other things. Next, what's that?
Glenwyn.
Well, Man United striker. Yeah, that's the one I'm talking about. Alicia.
Yeah, I think she'd be a fantastic addition to our squad. Whether she would actually come is another thing, isn't it?
I'm starting to troll every news feed going, and as yet I haven't seen anything. All I know is her contract's coming up to an end. She is a southerner girl, not quite London, but so I don't think that's enough, but I would just love her to come to the Arsenal. I just feel she'd be such a good fit. She really would. And she doesn't want to renew her contract at Man U. That's the interesting factor. But does she want to go abroad? Who knows? We can only keep our fingers crossed.
Yeah. Ignore didn't come out. Okay, I'm not sure. Maybe you made a comment that didn't come out. People comparing the two. It's going to happen because
Yeah, well,
unfortunately. What is the average retirement age for women's players? Again, I mean, you look at the men's game. Players, I mean, Stanley Matthews played till he was 50 something. If you look after your body and
well, if you're Ronaldo, yeah, and cryogenically.
yeah, and if you've got the ability, you've got the work ethic, and you put the work into to stay fit, I think you can play to a reasonable age. But
Where's the Brazilian captain now? Danny, what's his face? So I think it's about. Is he going on for 39?
yeah,
Yeah.
I'll give you a. Yeah, I mean, if you look at men's football, the age has gone up. Again, it's down to medical advancements and nutritional advancements. So, but because the
I'm going back to the women. I'm really not too sure because Raffaele, the Brazilian girl we got back last January signing, I think she's about 31. Actually, I didn't realise.
And
quite mature.
What's the Rapinoe, American? She's quite old, isn't she? What's she? 37 this year.
I don't know who that is. Sorry.
But the oldest female is Lorraine Peel.
Right.
So, but again, that's.
Ellen White, is she the one that's just or is pregnant? Sorry, just looking.
She might be, yeah. Lorraine Peel has just been, 5 years ago, entered the Guinness Book of World Records as the oldest female football player in the world at the age of 65.
Good. Wow.
And the previous was 60.
Oh, thank God I don't play football. I'll be dead.
Yeah, but the average age I would imagine is 30s, depending on injuries and bits and pieces. Positions played, different positions is different because of workload on the body and bits and pieces. Your defenders tend to go a bit longer than your midfielders and your wingers and forwards because you're doing different workloads and the game is different for the body and bits and pieces. So
yes, Ellen White. I'm pretty sure she's the one that's recently got pregnant. So probably just it's her time. She wants to start a family now before it's too late. I should think. I reckon she could have gone on a bit longer.
She might have felt that she. Yeah, it's definitely family friendly women's game. And you don't have to worry about hooligans or fights breaking out, and that's nice. But actually, being able to not worry about something like that if you're going to certain grounds and certain teams.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting, Steve. I didn't know that.
So 30, 130 for 100. Okay, right. Yeah, they're very
Yeah,
good.
so yeah. I don't know how many of the English teams have been. I know Arsenal did, but I don't know how many of the other English teams have been invincible in a season. It's a kind of yeah. I thought it was quite funny too.
Oh, I don't want. Not nice.
No, that's fine. No, John, you're fine. As you said, you're behind women's football, but you prefer
What's the
watching
men?
the men's, and everyone has a
Yeah,
preference. It's like lamb or beef or chicken
yeah, that's it.
or having a vegetarian option.
Yeah.
Tastes vary. And don't apologise for that. That's brilliant. It would be a bland world if everyone liked the same thing. But you can say this is my preference, but I do appreciate.
Well, just by what John's doing, I mean, obviously we're all part of the Cannon Fodder group,
Yeah,
but he's supporting us tonight, and
yeah,
his views, hopefully, whoever's tuning in, other than our usuals, can take away from that.
yeah. If she would come, it would be brilliant for the national team as Captain Williamson could somehow convince her. Yeah, I mean, you know what she brings
Mm.
to a team, and it would be fantastic. Maybe we can.
Got a
Maybe,
physical presence as well, because she's
yeah.
quite well built girl. She's quite sturdy, and that's good. Mm. We hope so.
Steve Smith, I'd have 2 TVs.
Uh,
Well, we've got no. The trouble is, we've got 4 in the house, and they're all linked to the Sky Glass.
yeah, that's it.
You get a little puck. It's like a little Google Fire or Chrome cast thing. You plug into the back of the TV, but all ones are Wi-Fi. So if your internet goes down, you're buggered. Who is Arsenal's greatest woman player? Very good at Alex. I mean, I think that's difficult. Is it subjective, or are you looking at just what they've done for the club? Uh, for me, that's a really hard one. I think, but if you're asking me, I think you. I think you'll probably how you judging it, isn't it? I mean, you've had loads out there, isn't there? I mean, you could say Kelly Smith.
Yeah,
Yeah,
our name went. Kelly Smith, very influential. Rachel Yankee.
Marion Spacey. Uh, you look at Faye White,
Yeah. Actually,
Kim
somebody.
Little. So and Emma Byrne. I mean, take your pick out of them. I mean,
Sorry, can I just interrupt there? Someone who is doing a lot of good promoting now because of her work in sport has got to be Alex Scott as well.
yeah. Again,
You know,
you've got
like
you.
modern era. Yeah, she's
Yeah,
and sometimes she takes a little stick for things which I think are desperately unfair. The only problem I had is when she started doing a quiz show on BBC One at lunchtime, and I thought, oh my dear Lord, Please don't. Everybody does though. Just stay off those. But I particularly like watching her if I'm around, which I usually am. And what's it called? The football program, BBC One. Sorry, I never get off BBC One. Is it Football Focus? And
Yeah.
and I love it when she does the FA Cup with whoever comes on with her, and they go to all the lower divisions.
Yeah.
No, she's right, and let alone what she does to promote women's football. And
Yeah,
I don't
I
know
think,
that she went.
yeah. I mean, there are names out there. I wouldn't like to pick one particular because they've all done something fantastic for
Yeah.
Arsenal Football Club, and it'd be very hard to say that one's done more than that one. They've all had great careers. They've all won something with Arsenal, and I just think you have to appreciate what each one's done in the eras, because without the likes of them, Leah Williamson wouldn't be playing, and everyone has a hero and a player they look up to. I mean, if you when I was a kid, the player I used to love watching was Tony Curry. I mean, even though I was an Arsenal fan, he was the opposite, the player from any other team in the country that I loved watching. So you always have that one player that you look up to. And I mean, if you're old and that, it probably you're probably looking at other players, but it depends what era you come from.
Oh, I just good
Yeah.
question. John Gooner. No, not from a few years ago.
No, I think the only reason you're now doing it is off the back of the Euros, but again, it's certain matches and certain.
Yeah, you got to have a biggie, and obviously the 15th that's going to be.
Yes, and there's certain teams that it doesn't fill up for, and I think this is where they've got to consider and how they feel that, because there were certain parts when in the United game, but there's certain areas that were bare, and you had certain spots here and there up in the upper ground. Maybe just bring them down to and make it a bit more compact, and give them if it's available. And you've again, the United game was hit by train strikes, and
that was really unfortunate, actually. Yeah, so
that was the thing. But Miss Kelly. Or Marion. Yeah, as I said, it's individual thing. You could pick any one of those names I've mentioned, or others. It's just what you personally feel.
Yeah.
Kelly Smith is the most successful.
Yeah, she probably is actually. Yeah.
Kearney is also a prospect, though. Yes, I agree. So I think we've gone through the thing. We just round up with that because we haven't done the season so far, have we?
That's right. I mean, I'd just like to, as we've got our next big game coming up, and I just thought, let's look at the women's table here. So we're currently on 24 points, goal difference 20. So it's a real 3 for 3. Chelsea, 27 points, goal difference. They've got 3 more goals.
Yeah, it's not, which isn't much.
No, it's not much actually. So
that's just. It only becomes an issue when you're looking at 10 plus goals. That's where the when it becomes really hard to overcome. That's when goal difference becomes like having extra points in the bag, because you might tie on points, but if you're 10 goals behind, the title is gone. It's like having a 3 or 4 point gap, to be honest. So, but a big game coming up on the 15th, and for us, and against Chelsea, and that could actually thing. We still got a game in hand on Chelsea, haven't we?
I'm pretty sure we have, Yeah, because between us and the boy, the Queen, God rest her soul, departed this earth.
Yeah, I'll double check that. But I'm pretty sure, as the standings go, we are 3 points behind, but we we've only put us, United, City, Everton. Yeah, so we're 3 points behind Chelsea, but we've got a game in hand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we have,
and we play them on the 15th. So win that on the 15th, we're joint on points, and still got a game in hand on them. So that could be quite important. I think it's a good way going into that game.
Definitely.
So, but yeah, I mean, I think it's so far our season's been pretty good for women. They started really well. They were really strong. You had the injuries to Williamson and Raphael Souza, but we got through them.
Yeah.
And then now we've picked up the injuries to Miedema and Mead, and we need to do something so that we can get through that period without them. But I think we'll do all right, and it will come down to those games against Chelsea and fine margins.
Yeah, very much so.
Tides the same. John men game for me too, but a real interested in the women's after watching them live. Sublime skill of a moment for me was when we brought down the ball and turned like a Bergkamp. Did it for me. Yeah, and as I said, it doesn't matter what you prefer and where your preferences lie. If you're turning up, tuning in, and supporting, it doesn't matter where your preferences lie. I like rugby and football. I mean, if I was honest, rugby, as I used to play it, holds a slight preference for me. But I'm a Wasps fan, and so. But I love watching Arsenal football. I love watching the men's. I love watching the women's. And for me, I quite happily watch either. And for me, I grew up on the men's, but just recently, in the last sort of 10, 15 years, I watched more of a women's game. So as it's become more accessible, and this is a thing, there are sports out there that you are becoming more accessible because of the media coverage and the spread of the digital age. So, I mean, I like watching the snowboarding at the Winter Olympics. It's not something that, and you get to see more of it. I mean, I watch a family on YouTube who's got their 3-year-old daughter snowboarding, and it's such fun to watch. And you, as I said, it's the reach of the digital age now. You can watch so much and diversify into different areas of your life. and pick up an interest that you didn't realise you'd be interested in before. So, but which is a good thing. Yeah, it is, and it's nice. I like it. Ober has just been subbed after coming on as a sub. Well, we know what Ober is, and it has been. He's had his time, and unfortunately now I don't think Chelsea play the way he needs, and he's not what Chelsea need either. But I mean, they've just gone a goal down. I mean, they had some good chances in the first half from what I saw, but I mean, I'm more interested in the Chelsea Arsenal women's game because that will be that will be a defining game for in the season for our women.
All about peace, love, and light, and wherever he goes, wish him well because he won't stay at Chelsea.
Yeah, Volty, very good.
Oh, Alia, yeah.
Very good on the ball.
Yes.
I mean, I like seeing Ford on the ball. So yeah, she can quite easily come in and play in that number 10 role. I think quite easily. But yeah, we've got some real ballers in our team, and which is nice to see. And
freedom.
I mean, if you look at Iwawuchibi as well, she's pretty decent on the ball and has got it looks decent. So yeah, I mean, we all have players we like watching. I mean, as I said, if in the 70s, I like Tony Curry. If you look at Bergkamp has been mentioned in this show, outstanding player, love to watch. You've got your Wrights, you've got your Henrys, your Stapletons, players like that. Everyone had, I mean, a player that they really stood out for them. So, which is good, and I agree. Walty has been fantastic for us this season.
Yeah.
Right. Anyway, we've been going for an hour and a half now. So, is there anything else we've got to cover, or any more questions? If not, we'll tie it up.
Just a big thank you for everyone who's tuned in.
Yeah, thank you to Alex again for sorting the stream, and thank you for you guys for the comments and the support and the love as usual. And we'll see you next Thursday. We'll talk to those of you who are in the in the fodder crew as usual. But
I can say on that note is, will we be supporting Ukraine or not supporting Ukraine, as the case may be? Talking point.
Oh, definitely. But we'll see, and we'll see where we get. At the end of the day, as long as we get some bodies in, but improve the team.
Absolutely.
Right. So
anyway,
thanks, Engine. See you soon.
Thank you, Richard. Thank you, everybody. Good night.
Good night.